Hi Frick, thanks for joining the show. Could you quickly explain to our viewers what you do?
Well, I'm Freek Borgjev and I'm co-founder and head of sales at KAYZR. We are a local social esports platform. And
So, before you go on, because I think not a lot of people know what esports is. Maybe you explain very briefly what's that thing? What's the beast of esports?
Esports is in fact competitive gaming.
Yeah.
It's like you can play tennis by just tossing the ball to one another. But if it only becomes competitive.
It's not Tetris or it's real competitive online gaming.
It's indeed competitive online gaming, putting the extra edge to video games, and just by adding rule sets and organizing tournaments and adding prizes, etc.
How many people are on the? You've grown very rapidly.
Indeed.
So
from 1 year we went from 0 to 15,000 local esports players, and we're now rapidly growing even to 20,000. So that's going really fast, and we're hoping to end the year with 40 to 50,000 people on the platform.
So, for our viewers, one of the things that I think is really relevant to explain, because I see a lot of startups struggling. On one hand, you have the user base that needs to grow. On the other hand, you have your customer base, and they kind of interact. So let's start quickly with the user base. How did you grow it? What did you do differently? Because I know at a certain stage you got stuck, and then let's jump later to the customers.
As I already told you, we're a social esports platform. So what does that mean? That we've added we have the tournaments for the local players, so you can link your game to the platform, and then you can go to play the tournaments that we offer for those games. So we're doing 15 to 20 weekly tournaments for now. And
it's a local community hosting and all. You really engage your community.
Indeed, indeed. Cool. So it's for any skill level. Any player of any skill level can participate and play against a player of his own skill level that lives nearby. That's a bit.
So would I be correct in assuming that if you do this, the reason why people really want to join, it's honor and glory?
Yes, indeed. That's what we add, because the honor and the glory, and that's why we added the social platform afterwards, after 6 months. That's been released now. That people could go follow each other, chat with each other, and you attract the more casual gamers, not only the hardcore tournament players.
Otherwise you're too narrow.
Indeed, and that's how we grew the user base as well. But also you get some sort of news feed, just like on Facebook, but then only for gaming, local gaming content.
Really niche.
Really niche. And then we could go and push our champions to all those 15,000 players. And that's the glory part, besides from the prizes, that's really necessary to get people to put in that extra effort to compete.
Yeah.
And
it's like Napoleon used to say, you can't win a war without medals.
Indeed.
Right? So you're giving medals, different colors, all of
that. Exactly.
Okay, so that's your user base. So if you then look at your monetization base, where do you get your money?
Well, what we do is we brand our tournaments. We do 15 to 20 tournaments every week, and we brand those tournaments. So what we do is we go to brands, and we have a unique target group that they can interact with by organizing the tournaments with us.
So how do you convince a brand that doesn't know e-gaming? So you enter to a large brand, like let's say an InBev type of company, or a Red Bull, the classic ones that would be interested in this kind of. How do you explain what e-gaming is, and how do they take you seriously? Because at the end of the day, you are a small company with a small team. You have a large user base, but how do you do it?
Indeed, that's a bit of story that you tell, and that's the beauty of working with a niche, is that you can go and say like, hey, you're not reaching out to millennials at all, you're struggling, and then we have a niche within this millennial market that uses ad blocker 65% of the time, that does not watch TV, that does not watch listen to the radio, very highly targeted. And then we say, well, we can surpass the ad block, and we can go really make an impact to this niche, hard to target target group.
And then you have all the analytics to show, look, this is the reach, the impact.
And then and with their product, because there must always be a product fit.
The thing that I saw in the beginning, the first time when I looked at your forecast, was like, well, every deal they put on 3 months. And then I looked at it and I said, guys, it's not possible. You're in the very large corporates, you're in an enterprise, you have marketing budget, you have cycles. So deals are 9 months to 12 months, and they must be higher, because in the beginning you were selling at 2-3K, which of course is not, I mean, it just doesn't make sense from a cost of acquisition point of view. So what did you do? What did you change? Or how did you learn, like, okay, we needed to flip the coin here?
Well, first we have, of course, a growing target audience. In the beginning we only had 1,000 to 5,000 people on the platform. Now we have 15 to 20,000 people on the platform.
But you don't monetize the people at this stage?
No, not at all.
Not at
We
all.
do have now recently introduced a elder, some sort of premium fee for €5 per month, which get them some benefits, not competitively, but just adding some colors and be able to host your own tournaments for your friends, etc. So now we're going to the bigger players, of course, but they're just bigger structures. The deal sizes are bigger as well, of course, but what we see is that you need to convince more departments that they go work together and they come to the conclusion of working with you, and then you have procurement and
you have cycles and
indeed
it's hierarchy. So B2B is always defined by hierarchy. So once you go up in the hierarchy, it just takes time, because every time you sell to somebody, he needs to get approval in the cycle, and you need to go through the whole bloody chain.
Exactly.
Endless it takes, but plan it correctly and it's a gold mine.
Yeah, so how would you plan it? For example...
So if you start with these guys, it's going to be between 9 to 12 months for sure, first one. Two, every time you talk to the manager or every time you talk to these people, you always need to prepare material for approval for their boss. That's the key. So don't focus on the one guy, but focus actually the whole chain up. What do I need to send him so they can actually send it through? That's one. So what I do, very practically, if you want to know how, is I always make 2 emails when I meet somebody. I make a very formal email with an Excel sheet, very short, and that mail is really focused on going to the next level, that he can forward it, like procurement or CEO, whatever. And then I always send a very personal email where I will actually say, here is some value on the site that proves that you can do politics, because big companies are always politics. And 2, they actually have 2 emails that they can start sending around. And that makes you a lot more valuable. You have the luxury of not having competition. So it's a different ball game. Your competition is the budget goes to something else.
Yeah, indeed.
So that's your biggest fight. Do you ever have this feeling where you're in a deal and you think everything is going well, and then you're starting to beat them, and then it kind of fades away?
Yeah, but indeed, but it didn't fade away. For example, we had a really big, massive project we were working on, but then suddenly the strategy changes on the top level, and then you see that they have budget cuts and etc. And suddenly the budget just isn't there anymore. You're at a 80-90% deal stage, and then suddenly
it evaporates. I don't think it evaporates actually. I think it's like we would say would be put in the fridge, but it's gonna take a while. Statistically, and that's what I would say is go cut it in pieces, try modular, go back in. So one of the biggest advices would be that you actually try to really make it modular and don't keep pushing, because that's the wrong thing you can do, because at that stage they're past and you become an annoyance. So what you need to do is do it differently. Take a step back, relax, don't be eager. If you're too eager, they're not going to buy, because they're just going to over negotiate. And what you then move actually is take a step back, offer something for value and say, hey, let's start very, very small, 1 to 2K. Key is get your foot in the door.
So actually we've been there. We've took a step back sometimes. We've got really big projects going on with several corporates, and then suddenly we aim too high. For the first time, because
ambition. You started, you want to get
you want to get the big lot, you want to get a big ticket, and then we noticed, well, for esports it's a bit too early to go that big now, because even with
you need to educate still a lot.
Indeed.
And in the sales process you have like different stages. First you have the awareness, I have a problem somewhere, then you're gonna go and look online, which is the selection phase. So you have to think differently. You have an awareness stage, I have a problem, I need to do something. So there is something out there I can't reach. Then you go into the education stage, where you're gonna look into like who is actually offering this. And then you have the selection stage. Most companies, what they do wrong is they start selling in the education phase. You should never do that. You should sell in the selection stage. With you, it's a lot of education. Let them ask. If they ask, you have a much stronger position in negotiating. And that's what you've actually learned the hard way by going back.
Because the funny part is, you'd say our first customers for advertising would be those gaming,
classic
mice, etc. All those hardware manufacturers, but they weren't. We had the FMCGs, we had the financial partners, we had even beverages, etc. that weren't into esports.
But it wasn't because they wanted to try something new.
Yeah, indeed.
And you had a small budget, so let's try. Let's see the impact.
And even if their experience budget is only 10% of their campaign budget, it's still more than what the hardware manufacturer. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So
I actually heard that you guys actually got, because you work with, you actually got beers in the shop where you have your own monetary system.
Yeah, indeed.
Gamers
and it
can buy
works.
beers, guys. With an
But
idea.
it works. You can
Gamers
game.
can buy beers.
By playing. That's indeed. They go to the shop, they get a code.
Where do I go? Where do I go to?
KAYZR.com.
KAYZR.com.
And you link your game,
Okay,
you start competing, and then you just
let's
buy
stop
all
the
the beer in
interview.
the world.
Let's go to KAYZR.com. Get the beers. Thanks, Frank, for joining. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure for me as well.
Thanks for watching the show. Give it a thumbs up, share it if you like it, and I see you next time.